Good morning. Welcome to this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show. My name is Leon Jones. This morning's topic, knowledge is power. Now, I want to do this topic because there are a number of African American people, I'm African American myself, who don't understand concepts of how the real world works, especially when religion gets involved. When we talk about truth in the African American community, a number of us really don't deal with it very well because we've been indoctrinated by the system that we call white supremacy. Although it hasn't helped us, we still accept it and we live by it as if it were gospel. Now, the reason why we don't know anything outside of this system is because we do not do due diligence. And I always say in my videos that knowledge is power. And when you present something that's against what we've been indoctrinated or we have been taught by another culture, we get very emotional. We deflect. We can't deal with the criticism. We're looked at as if we don't believe in a superior being like God, or we don't believe in Christianity or going to work for somebody. Whatever the case, in the African American community, what we need to do is open our minds up to getting more knowledge. We have been misinformed since we were born. Now, I'm doing a trilogy on why African American people do not like each other. Now, I did a video called The Miseducation of God. That's one component. The other component I'm going to do over the weekend, that is going to be the Stockholm Syndrome. And that basically will talk about the house Negro versus the field Negro. The two concepts were different, but in that video, I'm going to explain to you how the house Negro and that house Negro mindset is still taking place today. What I want you all to do as African American people is start to educate yourself. See, when African Americans came out of slavery, the system was there to keep us dumbed down. And a number of us are still dumbed down today. Now, are there people out there who are racist? Absolutely. You can't be naive of that. But when we talk about racism, some of us are comfortable with the system of white supremacy because we don't know how to be free psychologically. We just don't. Now, is that the fault of white supremacy or is that the fault of us? The answer is that's a fault of us. And when it comes to our problems of African American people, as African American people, we do not like to look in the mirror to find out where we've gone wrong. We deflect. We get emotional. This is why we cannot have discussions with each other when it comes to politics and religion, because there are a number of us who don't understand the subject matter. But at the end of the day, as African American people, we must understand that without knowledge, we can't grow. Also, let's look at the people who we are associating with as African American people. Now, there are three types of people that you should associate with. Ones who are above you, where you can gain knowledge from them and their experience or experiences. People who are on your level, because you need individuals who you're compatible with, and people below your level. Now, these are the people that you can help grow. But you don't need people below you, on your level, or above you who are trying to take from you. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what social class we're in as African American people. We're all African American people. We don't have to live in a hood to be considered demons in the eyes of the oppressor. Because the media makes all of us out to be savages, even if we aren't savages. And that's based off of a number of individuals who live in neighborhoods that have savage mindsets. But when it comes to gaining knowledge, we as African American people have to do a lot better when it comes to obtaining knowledge. Too many of us are going on social media. We're listening to the mainstream media, and the mainstream media puts out a lot of propaganda. And in the end, the mainstream media and some social media outlets only want us to know what they want us to know. So we have to dig a little deeper to find our information. And there are a lot of informational sources out there, but we fail to utilize them. So when we have discussions with each other as African American people, we tend to get emotional. Emotion clouds critical thinking. And at the end of the day, we as African American people are never going to have any type of community if we don't understand the information. And the reason why I'm telling you that we need to go with all sorts of information, because once we have an understanding of what's going on, we will know what information to keep and what information to filter out. We as African American people have been on this earth for quite a while. You hear a number of us talk about Pan-Africanism when a number of us have never been to Africa. Now, what I want to tell a number of you all as well is we need to get out of the realm thinking that the Eurocentric culture is for us. It is not. The holidays that we celebrate, like Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, they're paganized holidays. These were holidays set up by Roman Catholicism. And in Roman Catholicism was paganism. When you talk to a number of African Americans about these holidays, they don't want to hear it. Well, what I'm telling you is this. Being African American, I noticed that I have to continue to open my eyes even wider. Because if I don't, there's always going to be somebody that's going to try to sneak something behind me or by me. You have to look around. You have to have what we call 360 vision. Now, this video that I'm doing is not about debates or controversial issues. It's about informing our own African American people that we must understand that without knowledge, we're not going to have any sort of growth or power in the society, and we're going to maintain the status of what we call victimization. And this is when we become enriched with the white supremacist or the Eurocentric culture under a syndrome known as Stockholm Syndrome. And that's going to be my next component I do on my 3-video series talking about why African American people do not like each other. So, here's what I'm saying in this video. I'm going to make this video pretty short since I'm at work. Overall, we need to do a little better when it comes to teaching. We need to understand that everything that is taught to us, that is read to us, is untrue. You have a number of people who make up lies and distortions. Now, the older African American people may not see this because they're so far entrenched in this nonsense that we've been taught by our schools and churches. Some of them don't want to remove those layers. That's fine. But we need to get out to the younger people to help them get a better perspective of what's in front of them. And what's in front of them is not necessarily pretty. And when I talk about truth, truth is not pretty, folks. Truth is ugly. No matter how much we as African Americans deflect or hide behind the truth, it's always going to stick out like a sore thumb. And at the end of the day, if you're seeking the Most High, you're seeking the truth. Understanding the Bible. And the Bible is very important. You need to take the Bible from a biblical sense, not from the Christianity sense. Now, I'm not saying all Christians are bad, but you have a number of them out there who claim they know the Bible, they read the scriptures, but they don't even know how to really interpret what's being said in the Bible. They interpret it to their own agenda. And a number of these pastors in these churches have their own agendas. And one big agenda that's running rampant in the African American community today is the homosexual agenda. And the reason why it's running rampant, because this was part of Margaret Sanger's agenda to have black people exterminated. So when you bring in STDs and AIDS within the African American community plus abortion, those are areas that are problematic to African American people as far as their existence on this earth. So with all of that being said, we as African American people must continue to keep our eyes and ears open. Because at the end of the day, we don't have anybody but ourselves. I don't care how much we try to deify other races of people. They're not deifying us. They see us as trouble. But too many of us, again, want to be engulfed in their cultures. And what we're doing, we're taking money from our own culture and we're placing it in their cultures. And what do we have? We end up being more consumerists instead of investors. When it comes to knowledge, knowledge is power. And as African American people, we must understand how the real world works. We must understand that there are a number of individuals in this society who don't like us. But too many of us are walking around like house Negroes, spitting out this white supremacy. But we're also hurting ourselves by not respecting each other. And when it comes to subject matter, many of us don't understand the subject matter of issues that are taking place, again, because we've been indoctrinated and we had to assimilate in this white culture. So at the end of the day, what I'm saying is, African American people, men and women, we have to do a better job at teaching individuals in our community who are like-minded. Now, you got some that you can't teach. You have to let those people go. But the ones who really want to learn, we have to help those people. And men, I want to tell you this. Let's be a little bit better when it comes to our penises here. Let's stop knocking up good black women and then leaving them. And then what we're doing, we are creating hate from them because of our negligence. It's not fair that we as African American men are going around being irresponsible with sex. Not only are we impregnating some of our African American women, we're also giving them diseases. And African American women, okay, understand that men are leaders. Now, if men don't want to lead, don't pick that man. And this is a bit of knowledge for African American men and women. We have to have reasonable standards. Too many of us are superficial. We want the standards that we see on TV. TV is not going to help us. TV is manufactured by the Jewish community, which they utilize our dysfunctional behavior, just like Facebook, just like World Star Hip Hop, which is black, to put our information on a TV set so individuals can see what a few of us are doing to the majority of us. Because the majority of African American people are not bad people. But because we get the images of the dysfunctional people, we're all looked at as being savages. We're not savages. And it's up to us as African American people to understand that knowledge is power. We can't take everything that's given to us because it's not gospel. So what I'm urging you to do is open your eyes and open your mind and get more knowledge than what has been placed in front of you in this white supremacist, Eurocentric culture. And that's my commentary for this edition of the 401 Talk Zone radio show for this morning, Friday, July 20th, 2018. You can tune into the 401 Talk Zone radio show on Blog Talk Radio every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Guest calling number is 215-383-5785. If you like my videos, please share and subscribe to the 401 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube so I can continue to give you quality information for educational purposes from a professional and mature perspective. Now, on my channel, I don't do videos or Blog Talk Radio that's controversial. I don't debate or have emotional issues. Now, some of you may be sensitive to the subject matter because the subject matter is basically going inside something that you deem is uncomfortable and you have never heard it before because you've been taught only one way to think. And this is why I tell you on my channel, I'm about teaching and making you aware of how the real world works. So this is why I do not participate in any kind of bickering or drama because it is counterproductive. I'm simply here to give you knowledge from my standpoint based on my experiences and the information that I research. Now, stay tuned for part 2 of why African American people do not like each other, and I'm going to go more into the Stockholm Syndrome. Now, if you want to hear everything that I've put regarding why African American people hate each other, the components are the miseducation of God, which I did a video previously on its subject, Stockholm Syndrome, and the media. You can hear the entire podcast on my Blog Talk Radio show. So you have to go to Blog Talk Radio / that's a / 401 Talk Zone radio show. And remember, the information that I'm giving to you here on YouTube is positive but realistic. And understand, when you have knowledge, you also have power. And if you have a topic, a new YouTube channel, or business that you would like for me to discuss on YouTube or Blog Talk Radio, all you have to do is email me at lej6521@gmail.com. And if you have a comment, please leave your comment in the comment section under the video. And you can also leave your comments in the comment section under all of my Blog Talk Radio podcasts. But you have to make sure that your comments are pithy. No bloviating, pettifogging, or filibustering if you wish to opine. Now, that's it for this video. Till next time, My name is Leon Jones. Remember, please be gentle and respectful to each other and have a wonderful and blessed day. God bless you.